You want to change the world? Stop with the negative thoughts about yourself. Stop with doing stuff that doesn't work. It's like I tell my kids all the time. So many times in life, it's like if you hit your thumb with a hammer and it hurt, you'd stop. But somebody having a negative thought that I'm not good enough, it doesn't work, my husband will never believe in me, I'm not smart enough, I'm not rich enough. You'll do that shit to yourself all the time, and it's never worked for you, ever. Beating yourself up has never got you to the finish line at the level you want to be. It's a true story. I've never seen it happen. Stop it. Whether it's a thought, whether it's an action, whether it's a friend you hang out with that makes you feel absolutely miserable about yourself, stop it. You're in control. We just agreed life is going by too fast. It's going by in a heartbeat. So stop it. What can you learn from it? Right? All obvious stuff. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not, oh, I never heard this before. But the things that went wrong in the first half of this year, what if they're a blessing? What if you take Tony's word, life happens for us, not to us, and you were supposed to fail. They were supposed to let you down. They were supposed to not be there for you when you thought they should be. They were supposed to question you and say, it might work for other people. I don't know if it'll work for you. They were supposed to do that. Why? Because God's got a bigger plan and wants to know if you have the stamina to keep going and actually use that as fuel, not your anchor. So what went sideways? How can you analyze it? And how can you learn from it? Then, this is the brilliant part. What if what went wrong was just a millimeter or two away from going right? How can you adjust it? How can you tweak it? How can you modify it? And if it's not, how do you throw it away? I used to say this all the time on New Year's. I have these crazy visuals. This is how my simple, like 7th grade education brain works, okay? I look at my past as if your past is on all these shelves in this little building, right? Everything that happened in the first 6 months of this year, as everything's on the shelf, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? And you have a suitcase, and the building catches on fire, and you got 5 minutes to put in your suitcase everything you want to bring with you into the second half of this year. And then you know what you do with the rest of it? You let it burn. You let it burn. If you failed, what lesson can you learn from it? And let that shit burn down, right? Don't hold on to it. We make mistakes. Listen, I have to tell you, one of the biggest things that I had regrets on, and I can't do anything about it except learn from it, and I've shifted, is being the parent to my daughter, who has more than one child. Did anybody ever tell you in advance that you could have 2 children, raise them the same way, same love, same everything, and they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? They're completely 2 humans, right? Like, not even the same. Both my children are amazing. I love them both the same. But the way I raised my daughter, the way I communicate with my daughter, it just seems, it's effortless. With my son, it's like oil and water. Like, if I say something's black, my son will find a way of saying, it's white and you're wrong, Dad. And I'm like, oh my God, right? And it took me a long time to realize he's just wired different. And I have to communicate with him differently. And I have to figure out the puzzle of my son, Brody. And the truth is, I made some really shitty parenting decisions with him. And I've lost my temper with him. And I've yelled at him. And I've swore, like, damn it, Brody. Or, shit, what are you thinking? Like, really bad. Like, not bad. I've never physically hit him, never screamed, never belittled him. I just made dumb decisions on how I parented him because I wasn't listening. He just has a completely different language. And I felt like it was disrespect. I felt like I'm just being completely transparent. The dumbest thing I could ever do is look back, hold that regret, and keep doing the same thing. What I need to do is look back and go, that way to communicate with him ain't working. And if I keep doing it, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and expecting a different result? Let me just keep yelling at him. Let me just keep raising my voice because that works so well. No, all it does is he doesn't change and I feel guilty as hell when I go to bed and want to go upstairs and hug him and tell him how sorry I am that I tried, right? What I know is I let that burn down, but before I did, I learned from it. And I have to tell you, this last year with my son's a completely different space. I have different patience. I talk to him in a different way. I am figuring out the puzzle of my son Brody in an exponential way because of everything I'm sharing with you. And is that more for me? You can take all my money away. At the end of my life, if my boy Brody wasn't by my side because I screwed up and he moved away to another state and I talked to him once a year and he barely, wanted to chat with me, you could take away every dollar, put me in a sidewalk and with a blanket and a pillow. I'd rather have my son loving me than having a dollar in my life. But these same principles apply wherever you are. And when you don't change them, right? My father, I come from a long line of generations of parents not talking to their kids. My dad didn't talk to his father from when he was 11 years old to the day he died, never talked to his dad. His father did the same thing with his dad. And it could repeat in my family. It ain't. I'm stopping it. It's done. I'm not doing what other people have done, not what other generations have done. I've learned from it and shifted. I get a little personal here, but I just want to show you how important these things are. And we can change them today. We could stop it today. We can learn from it today. We could stop hitting our thumb with the hammer and expecting it not to hurt anymore. It will continue to hurt. It will continue not to serve you. So how do you let the past burn to the ground and just learn and carry over the finish line what you need? Make a list today of what didn't work and what you need to stop doing. So make that list today. What do you want to accomplish in the second half of the year? Okay, I talk about this all the time, but here's what I think you should do today, tonight, whenever time allows, is really sit and let's pretend it's the end of the year. Let's pretend it's the end of December and you're looking back and you go, damn, did I kick some butt in the second half of this year? Wasn't so sure in the first half, but man, I crushed the second half of this year. Visualize it happening so much, not as if it could happen. Pretend it did happen so you literally feel it in your cells. Like close your eyes and just think for a moment. What happened? Oh my God, my training. I'm selling 10 courses a week. I'm generating X amount of money. There's passion back in my relationship. My health is optimal. I look in the mirror and love myself. I found true love again, or I found inner love again. I don't know what it is for you, but I'm encouraging you to write it down and feel it, right? I said, what are you making profits online? Do you have the course launched, the revenue, the freedom? You have control of your time. You're spending more time with your family. I don't know what it is, but you do. And I'm going to ask you to take time and pretend it's the end of this year. It's December, end of December, and you're just on fire. What would that look like? What did you have to accomplish to make you feel that way? And write it down. Listen, when we create these mini roadmaps, when we create them, then how often do we have to look at them? What I'm going to encourage you to do is do this exercise, and I'd look at it every week. I'd look at it every day if you need to, but I'd look at it every week for the rest of the year. So you don't let yourself down. So you remind yourself of the emotions you feel at this moment. Because I promise you, an hour from now, life's going to be right back at you. You're going to be homeschooling your kids, or you're going to be driving them to the mall, or you're going to be doing your work or finishing something up at your current business, or you're going to get a call from somebody you work with or a friend that needs you, and man, you get out of this state and you get right triggered into the rest. Don't get addicted to the learning. You get your value when you take the uncomfortable action and you actually apply what it is I'm sharing. Just know the differentiator. The momentum, the movement is in the uncomfortable action of implementation, right? It's like the book, eat better, exercise more, right? We have to actually do it. You just don't want to go to the event that tells you how to get healthier. You want to learn how to get healthier and implement it. I don't want you just to hear this like, oh, Dean gave me a great training. It's like, no, this is for you. These are the little things that are actually the big things that I wish someone would have shaken me and said, do this, because here's what happens. I know how the brain works. When you want to make more money, it's like, I know how to be more positive. I know how to set goals. Dean, that's all good. Give me that secret that made you rich, dude. Come on. Come on. You've already heard a million ways to make money. You already know that. You already know how to achieve in your company. You already know how to get the promotion you want. You think it's some tactic, tools, trick, fancy thing, when really The stuff you really need to know is the stuff that I just shared with you. And I'll call people out and I'll tell them all the time. You want the tools and the tactics? You've already heard them. You already know eat better, work out more. It works. You already know how to get there. But this is screwing you up.